There is only one thing that can guarantee your success, and that is how you choose to think. When you become the master of your mind and you stop being the servant, absolutely everything becomes possible, and it doesn't matter where you are, where you've been, or where you want to go. When you master this one thing, absolutely everything becomes possible, and that is why I've saved this final episode for the last, which is about psychology mastery. Before we dive in, I want to let you know that without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest reason that small businesses fail is because the owners cannot direct their mindset. They become completely overwhelmed, completely live in fear and anxiety and overwhelm. They buy all the strategies, they try and do all the things, but because they can't direct this, and the reason I'm so incredibly passionate about this is that one sentence changed my life. It didn't happen overnight, but it changed my life completely in 2015 when somebody said to me, Louise, you do know that you can change your thoughts. I was like, what? Yep, you can change your thoughts. Those voices in your head, they don't belong to you. And I took the biggest exhale because for knocking the door of 40 years, I had been fighting these voices in my head, telling me that I wasn't enough, telling me to work harder, telling me that I needed to do more than everybody else because I wasn't good enough or special enough. And after 40 years of those voices, it was pretty damn draining. And when this woman said that to me, it set me off on a trajectory that completely changed my life forever. So I want to let you know, first of all, just two things. Number one, why it's not your fault that you've got these voices in your head. And number two, why you've not changed them before. So in short, these voices that you hear, and we've all got them, right? The voices that you hear in your head, that internal conversation, the stories that you're always playing over, I want you to think about them as echoes of your past experiences. Most of them are not even experiences that you're going to remember. They're going to be things that happened in your sort of formative years between sort of 0 and 7 that had a profound impact on you at the time, because at that time, you're like this sponge and you're soaking in all the information. You've got no way of filtering it. So everything you see, everything that you hear, and then how that, smell, taste and touch, those all come in, feelings get created, and you just believe them to be true. You've got no reason to question them because you've got nothing to compare it with. And so you've now learned, you've learned your values and your beliefs and your meanings from the way that people around you communicated and how they felt and how they behaved. So maybe for some of you, this is the first time you've realised that you've been living like a robot, you've been programmed. But we're told to say, oh, this is me, this is who I am. It's not who you are, it's who you were programmed to be. And if you're not living the life that you want, if you're not feeling confident in your ability to make your business work, if you don't have the health and the relationships that you want, your decision now is, do you want to change that program? Because I did it, and seriously, like, those voices were loud. And if I can do it, anybody can do it if you're willing to put the time and the effort in. And I just want to remind you that when we invest in the bank of comfort today, we will be withdrawing from the bank of regret for a lot longer, and that bank of regret is very, very painful. What I would like to do now is give you just an opportunity to experience just how true that statement is that I've just said about like you being conditioned. So I want you to imagine now that you're kind of like, you've got this pair of glasses on. If you already wear glasses, just imagine now grabbing a different pair and putting these glasses on. And these glasses hold all of this information that I've just talked to you about. So all of the thoughts, feelings, the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and the feelings associated with that are all unconscious because it's from way back when you were tiny. But everything you now experience in your life, like now, is filtered through these lenses. And it feels true to you because this filter is your life experiences. But we don't wear the same glasses, you and I. You don't wear the same glasses as anybody else. So actually what you believe is a truth is actually a perception based on these glasses. So imagine then that I cracked your top of your head open like a boiled egg. And I took your brain out and I put your brain on the table next door. And we put in a brain of a 5-year-old. and we put the corresponding 5-year-old glasses on. The 5-year-old who doesn't know much about money and finances and business right now, the 5-year-old who goes to nursery school and has fun and watches Baby Shark on the television. I don't know, is that too old or too young? I don't know, but I love Baby Shark. The 5-year-old who likes to eat with their food, the 5-year-old who finds random things funny. Everything you think and feel right now, filtered through the eyes of this 5-year-old, is completely different. You can't have those same thoughts and feelings. Another one I like to imagine is, imagine that you did that with somebody's brain who had only ever lived, I don't know, in the Serengeti, as an example, who had never seen technology, didn't know anything about money, lived in sort of tribes and huts and stuff like that. Do you think they would have the same experience of life as you, even if they were put in exactly the same life as you right now? No, because the filters are different. And the reason that you haven't changed these things before, I'm going to guess, is because you didn't know. You were not taught at school how to develop your brain for greatness and for happiness. You were taught to remember and to recite. You were taught equations and how to write a story. You weren't taught how to be aware of and then break down conditioning that keeps you playing small in a life where you want to play so big. And, this is game changing. This is the only strategy you really need to change your life. And this is everything that I teach in the Success Superstar method. It's like, you cannot go to a new level if you don't understand what got you to where you are, how you can break that down, and how you can reprogram yourself to think and act like that successful person right now. It's a game changer. It'll be the best investment you ever make if you do this with your mindset right now. So when we don't feel the way that we want to feel, when we're not making progress and we've been there for a long time, the question you have to ask yourself now is, am I willing to keep investing in the bank of comfort? Keep believing there's a strategy that I'm missing out? Keep believing that there's something external to me? Or am I really going to listen to Louise for just a moment and think about, maybe there is some conditioning that I need to change? And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how powerful that conditioning feels, you can change it with consistency and with a whole heap of courage. And I'm hoping to give you some ways to do that in this episode, and then the final exercise on psychology mastery, which will follow this one. So we have to now seek answers to create change. How do you start to become that mindset master? In the exercise that follows this one, I'm going to give you some questions that you can ask, so that what we do is, if you imagine like you've got this dashboard in your mind, that the dashboard is always set in the direction that we want to go in. But for now, I want to give you 3 slightly different concepts of how to set yourself up so that the mind monkeys don't become, they're not there as often, right? So rather than always being on the hop and having to answer the mind monkeys, let's see if we can delete them in the first place. So the first thing I really want you to do is I want you to make sure that you're doing some kind of journaling, practicing in the morning. And I really do recommend morning pages. I'm going to make sure I link the podcast episode for my 3 favorite journaling techniques. But I've only been doing morning pages now for getting on for a month, and it's an absolute game changer. I really struggled with journaling. Thought it was a bit of a waste of time. Found myself just writing crap, really, because I was like, I don't know what else to write. But following the morning pages thing and like just connecting in with higher self, on the days when I haven't done it, there is a marked difference in my mental state. Because what it does is it kind of gives you this blank slate. Because let's face it, sometimes we can wake up and feel funky. If something's happened the night before and it's been and you've been stewing in it overnight, or you've got a particularly stressful day coming up, or you haven't set yourself up for success, you can wake up and you can already feel agitated or anxious or overwhelmed. When you take this time, first thing in the morning, certainly before you pick this thing up, you should be picking this thing up for an hour at least. It gives you an opportunity, really, to create that blank slate for the rest of the day. And go back and listen to when I talked about vibrational energy in the last episode, how we activate this slipstream of alignment. And this blank energy, this page, allows you to kind of like surf through your day from a much more serene and optimistic and peaceful place. So make sure you give that a go. It doesn't have to be morning pages, but I am particularly loving that particular exercise. So make sure you go check out that podcast. The next thing is breathing. Now, of course, we all breathe all day, every day, right? But do you notice, like just notice now, where are your shoulders? Are your shoulders kind of up here? Drop them down. Just notice right now, how tight does your stomach feel? So like from your solar plexus down towards your base chakras, your sacral chakras, are you finding yourself holding in your tummy? Just do this with me. Just let everything go. Permission to have a jelly belly, right? This is not about having a six pack. Just let everything go. And as I started doing my morning pages, I also started doing the Wim Hof Breathing Method, and I've linked this in the show notes for you as well. Absolute game changer again. And when I'm doing the Wim Hof breathing, it completely changes my vibrational state. So I hope you're seeing now that all of the success series, like you have to watch them all, because they are all not just building on each other, but they're all beautifully they weave into each other. And sure, you can do them independently of each other, but if you do a little bit of something from each one, my friends, you are going to fly in a much shorter period of time, particularly if you come join me in the High Performance Hub, just $10 a month. I'll make sure I put a link in for you as well. So breathing, having a breathing practice is a really good way for you to start like oxygenating the brain, but more than that, bringing yourself into a place of presence. Oftentimes when I ask clients, okay, so where are you right now? And they go, well, I'm here. And I'll say, no, you're not. I can feel that you're not here. Your physical body is here, but where is your energetic body? 9 times out of 10, they've thrown their energetic body out into the future and they're worrying about something. They're catastrophizing something. They're thinking worst case scenario. If they breathed and took a moment and asked the curious what, why, when, how, who from the last episode, they would get a simple action step and they could remove themselves from that sort of forward frame, bring themselves into the now and be centered. Also, obviously what happens is as we start to take more courageous action, sometimes we can throw ourselves into the past and think about times when it hasn't worked out before, all the times that we've done something and it's gone wrong, or all the painful experiences. Again, breathe. Bring yourself back into the now. Now, I've put some resources in for you, the Wim Hof breathing. There's a few more. I'm going to link the blog because in the blog I've put extra resources in there for you around breathing and sort of anxiety, kundalini exercises and stuff like that. But you can also, and I'm going to give you this in the exercises that go with this particular series, you can just do breathing every hour. Even if it's 5 or 6 deep diaphragmatic breaths where your belly pushes out as you breathe in and then let it go. Just bringing your senses back, just dropping the ears away from the shoulders, just letting everything relax, feeling your muscles sort of melt away. Such a powerful state and an instant vibrational raiser. And that's what we talked about. We need to have that vibrational state. So breathing stops us from throwing our energetic bodies out into the future or flipping them into the past. It brings us into the now and brings us back into a place of control. The final thing that's essential for you to have psychology mastery is your boundaries. Now, I am talking about you in general if you're a business owner, but if you're an empath, particularly, like psychology mastery and energy mastery can be tough because we're taking on emotions and feelings, not just of ourselves, of the people that we live with, of our clients, but depending on how tuned in you are, you can be picking up on collective energy, and that can be exhausting and scary. So having boundaries around your time and your energy is an absolute must. And this includes your family and your friends as well as your clients. You're going to want to carve out time to prepare for experiences that might challenge your energy. So I love coaching, but if I'm doing 3 or 4 coaching sessions back to back, I need to make sure that I've got an hour or 2 carved out in the morning where I'm resting, I'm eating well, I'm hydrating, I'm getting outside, because that puts me in the great state. On the opposite side of that, you're probably going to want to have time to rejuvenate afterwards. Cleansing in Epsom salt baths, getting outside, drinking plenty of water. Like, what does that recharge look like for you? And also, what conversations might you need to have where you can say to somebody, I need your support with this. Could you please X, Y, and Z? boundaries are so important because boundaries come into how you value yourself, how you focus on what's important, and having those conversations. Like conversations, when you learn how to change the internal conversations from something that in the past has been very destructive to something that helps you construct and create your ideal life experience, the quality of those questions and the quality of those conversations that you have with yourself and then with others literally paint a whole new picture for you. So when we don't install these boundaries and we don't honor those boundaries, our mind is like then constantly processing the thoughts and the opinions and the emotions of other people, so that we're not in our own space, we're not in our own mindset, we're looking at everybody else's and we're trying to digest that and we're trying to make sense of and move from that space, and you just can't do that. I hope that what this series has done for you is help you to realize that your next level of success, your success superstar identity, is all in the methodology of how you come to the space where you recognize the conditioning that's holding you back, where you break that conditioning down, where you reprogram yourself and you use tools and techniques to keep you anchored into that vibrational state with clarity on what's important, how to take action, and then your success, your life and business success is absolutely inevitable. There is one final video coming up for this one about how do we master our psychology by creating this dashboard of our mind. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And once you're subscribed and you've hit the bell to get notified, you'll get notified as soon as that one comes live. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the final exercise in just 2 ticks. What are the stories that you tell yourself about why you can't succeed, or why you find this so hard, or why you're so different to everybody else? The stories that you tell yourself are more than just this internal conversation. The stories that you tell yourself are actually defining for you what your life experience is going to be like.